So I came down with an extreme version of diarrhea and I couldn't really move much. So I decided to take a stroll in the Commonwealth's wasteland of the Fallout, and to my surprise I came across locations that I never saw before, and if I've never seen them, then there's a 100% chance that you've never seen them. So let's proceed. Now our first location is in Nuka World at the Bradberton, located in the top right corner of the map, and upon arriving we quickly render the ghouls deceased and follow the path up this hill. And as we follow the path, we'll end up in this location at the far right corner of Bradberton. Now it seems like your average house wasting away in the wasteland, but if you make your way to the back of the house, you'll stumble upon a duggeted out graveyard with a skeleton holding a cash register in a hollow grave, a tombstone with 3 vase jars, and a raider lying deceased on the ground with a box of sugar bombs. Now it's quite evident that someone was having some breakfast cereal while digging up a skeleton with a cash register for some unknown reason. Now for our next location, we're gonna head to the Skylines Flight 1981, and upon arriving we quickly dispatch of the random children of the atoms. We follow the path and get rid of several enemies in the way. So as we follow the path away from the crash site, you'll eventually come across the dark hollow pond. And as you approach, you'll notice a raider campsite. And what I found interesting about this location is the 2 raiders just camping it out and doing some fishing. And she even goes for a swim with the dog laying rest. The second raider will be asleep in a shelter. You know, just a duo surviving it out in the wasteland. Now I reloaded like 5 saves, and there was always this Meyerlark that will creep up upon one of the raiders. Now the raider is about to submerge herself from a refreshing dip. I then head over to the Murky Water construction site and decided to take a walk through the wet swamps of the Murky Waters. And as I kept walking through the wet swamps of the Murky Waters, I kept walking through the wet swamps, and I kept walking, and I came across an unmarked location just south of the Wilson Automatoys factory. I made my way around the compound that seems to be buried in a swamp of some sorts. And I stumbled upon an entrance and found a ghoul feasting upon an deceased human. Now this place kinda reminded me of the Walking Dead series, as it's quite evident that some survivors took shelter but was later overrun by ghouls. Now the place has some deceased corpse that you can loot and scavenge, and at the end of the room you can find a green ghoul, a discombobulated corpse, and an expert safe along with some bottle caps. Now there's a bonus unmarked location just to the right of the Wilson Automators, just north of this location. I stumbled upon this parking lot and made my way down the ramp of the parking lot, and for some unknown reason someone rendered themselves deceased while attempting to take a joyride down the ramp of this abandoned garage. Now south of Hubris Comics, if you make your way down this alleyway through through this raider encampment, when you head to the top of this roof, you'll notice a trail of blood, and if you follow it, you'll come across a gruesome sight. Now, I suggest you come to this location earlier in your playthrough, as these environmental events tend to glitch out. Now, this woman obviously crushed her intestinal tubercular cords as she tried to make this jump, and then we have 2 bodies on the pavement that barely made it. And if you make your way around the corner, you'll come across a guy that made the jump but didn't make it. Now let's make our way to Fiddler's Green, and let's make our way to a hidden bunker between these unassuming trees. Now word from the Commonwealth is This was someone from the future who tried to establish communications to avoid the bombs from falling 200 years ago, but he contracted a gooning addiction and perished after the 200th goon.